Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zulfa Hayati and my student's ID number is 8111419071. This time I will briefly explain what I have written in my paper entitled Relation Between Law and Politics in the Revision of the Special Autonomy Law for Papua Province. As we know that the Papua Special Autonomy Law has been valid for 20 years, and the substance of this Papua Special Autonomy Law contain at least two mutually supportive visions. The first is the vision of prosperity. This vision is based on the assumption that various Papuan's problems are rooted in the low level of welfare of the Papuan people. So the Papuan problem will be resolved along with the improving welfare. The second is the vision of peace. This vision stands for the belief that the Papuan issue is a multi-dimensional issue which includes the historical issue of Papua integration, plus human rights violation and respect for Papua symbol and culture. After 20 years since the enactment of Law Number 21 of 2001 concerning special autonomy for Papua Province, based on data from the Central Statistic Agency in 2020, the Human Development Index of Papua Province is the lowest among other provinces in Indonesia. This fact is very different from the large amount of special autonomy budget that Papua receives. And unfortunately, the point of the vision of peace is that contained in Law Number 21 of 2001 were not implemented optimally. In fact, according to Amnesty International, there are 69 cases of unlawful killing in Papua involving security forces. Then I compiled these two questions as a formulation of the problem. The first is, what is the background for the revision of special autonomy law for Papua province? And how is the relation between law and politics in the revision of the special autonomy law for Papua province? After the special autonomy law for Papua has been in effect for approximately 20 years, in general, there is an increase in welfare in Papua and West Papua as a result of the special autonomy policy. However, these improvements are considered not satisfactory enough, and there are several issues that need attention. Among them is that Article 34 of the Papua Special Autonomy Law that states that 2% special autonomy fund is only valid for 20 years and will expire in 2021. That means that after 2021, the granting of special autonomy fund to the province of Papua and West Papua has no legal basis, so that if no change in norms is made, the special autonomy fund will be discontinued. This has consequences for the pattern of development in Papua and West Papua. In addition, there are problems related to the management of the Special Autonomy Fund and additional infrastructure funds so that the result of Special Autonomy Fund are not optimally achieved. It is necessary to reformulate related to the amount and mechanism of financial management of Special Autonomy Fund. In addition, it shall be evaluated related to management, transparency, accountability, implementation of good governance to ensure that Special Autonomy Fund can reach the community, are right on target, and the benefits can be felt by the people in Papua and West Papua province, especially for Papuan indigenous people. The province of Papua and West Papua are areas prone to social conflict and armed security disturbance. The conflict, of course, hinders development in the Papua region. There are also many conflicts between ethnic groups in the Papua region because of the very strong pattern of communal life. DPR passed the revision of the Papua Special Autonomy Law, which changed 18 articles and added 2 new articles. Of the total 20 articles, there are a number of crucial articles that cause pro and contra reaction. The first is there was an addition to the Special Autonomy Fund from 2% to 2.25% of the National General Allocation Fund. The central government considered that the addition of the Special Autonomy Fund can be a breath of fresh air for the Papuan people. The addition of the Special Autonomy Fund is expected to be felt equally to the lowest level of society, but the rejection came from some Papuan people, especially Papuan students who are members of the Papuan Student Coordinating Board or BKMP in various regions. They consider that the increase in the Special Autonomy Fund budget is not able to solve the humanitarian problem in Papua. And there are also changes regarding the establishment of political party by Papuans. Article 28 of Law Number 20 of 2001 states that President of Papua Province can form political party, which in their political recruitment, it must prioritize indigenous Papuans. Meanwhile, in Law Number 2 of 2021, the provision of Article 28, Paragraph 1 and 2 are removed. The abolition of the paragraph is in accordance with the decision of the Constitutional Court. This abolition is based on the reason that phrase political party in Article 28 is considered to have multiple interpretation. It can be interpreted as a local political party in accordance with the spirit of the Special Autonomy Law, and it can also be interpreted as a national political party as it is written, so that it causes many misunderstandings in practice. The government is of the opinion that abolition of this paragraph can prevent the misuse of political party by parties that certain state sovereignty. In addition, those paragraphs are not effective in increasing the representation of Papuan indigenous people in provincial and district or city government seats. This is evidenced by the dominance of non-Papuan politicians in several regions. In addition, with national political party instead of a local political party, the involvement of orang asli Papua at the national political level will be more secure because the regeneration and political career are not only limited to the regional level, thus making aspiration and interest in Papua more easily channeled. However, there is an opposite argument. A number of academics argue about the urgency of the presence of local party in Papua. They are in opinion that local political party can slowly eliminate conflict between the center and region, can provide wider space and opportunity for the indigenous Papuans in local democracy, and can also strengthen national democracy. This is where the relation between law and politics lies. The government concerned about the interest of separatist group who wants Papua to separate from Indonesia is also one of the reasons behind the abolition of paragraph 1 and 2 in Article 28, which is a legal basis for the Papuan people to form political parties. This is a real example where the political situation or the interest of a party can affect a local product. The abolition of the paragraph also has an impact on the Papuan people, which after the abolition of the first, the Papuan people can no longer form a political party because local political party are not the part of Papua Special Autonomy. As we know that the Papuan people once formed the Partai Papua Bersatu, whose decision to ratify the party has been revoked by the Ministry of Law and Human Rights. This is an illustration that a law can affect political conditions in society, where the Papuan people can no longer form a political party. Then I conclude that we can find the relation between law and politics in the revision of the law on special autonomy for the province of Papua, particularly in the abolition of paragraph 1 and 2 in Article 28, which apart from the Constitutional Court decision, the abolition of the verse is also instead a step to prevent the misuse of local political party by parties who threaten state sovereignty. The abolition of the paragraph affect the political life of the Papuan people where they no longer have legal basis to form a political party. That's all. If there are any questions, please write it at the comment section. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.